Hi, my name is Matt, and welcome to the American Cannabinoid Association. As I've previously stated, this industry is brand new to everyone. This is especially important when considering law enforcement professionals at the local, state, and federal levels. Remember that, literally overnight, plant material that looked and smelled like marijuana suddenly became a legal, commercial-scale agricultural crop. Similarly, unique chemical components contained within or derived from this new agricultural commodity went from being completely misunderstood to being completely protected at the federal level. As a result of such a drastic and immediate shift in policy, consumers, entrepreneurs, law enforcement professionals, and their regulators have all been struggling to interpret this legislation as accurately as possible. Unfortunately, that has created a bizarre avalanche of misinformation throughout the industry. The remainder of this video intends to clarify the legality of emerging cannabinoids such as Delta-8 THC at the local, state, and federal levels. Now, I've had the honor and privilege of working with a lot of cannabinoid industry professionals. For those of you that haven't met me personally, my background is actually in chemical and legislative consultation. So back in the day, I would help explain chemistry to legal professionals so they could craft better legal strategies for their clients, and I would explain law to scientists so they could understand the significance of their testimony. As fate would have it, this is the exact background necessary to analyze the legality of Delta-8 THC at various legal levels. I want to start by addressing the DEA's interim final rule that was issued back in August of 2020. A lot of industry professionals incorrectly assumed that ruling would somehow impact the legality of Delta-8 THC at the federal level. The following serves to clarify why that is not currently the case, but before I go any further, I want to begin by emphasizing my respect and support for the DEA, for all of its agents, and for all of its legal professionals. They are hardworking Americans that are working every day to protect our best interests and enforce the laws as written. They're not the bad guys that are out trying to destroy the cannabinoid industry. And the reason that's important is because, firstly, Congress is the lawmaking body with constitutional authority to write laws and pass bills. So the 2018 Farm Bill, which was crafted by Congress and signed into law by the president, clearly establishes legislative intent that specifically protects hemp as currently defined. Now, this protects the plant Cannabis sativa L and any part of the plant, including the seeds, derivatives, extracts, cannabinoids, isomers, acids, salts of isomers, whether growing or not, as long as it's below 0.3% Delta-9 THC on a dry weight basis. This is important because regulatory agencies do not have the constitutional authority necessary to change this law. Until Congress passes an amendment or updates the language of the Farm Bill in 2022, this federal definition of hemp that protects Delta-8 THC and other emerging cannabinoids remains the law of the land. Secondly, the language of the interim final rule doesn't target Delta-8 THC. Instead, it references synthetically derived tetrahydrocannabinols. Now, while Delta-8 THC is structurally considered a tetrahydrocannabinol, the language of the Farm Bill specifies that its congressional protections supersede the classifications found in the Controlled Substance Act. Furthermore, Delta-8 THC isn't usually synthetically derived. Now, while it can be chemically synthesized from non-hemp derived precursors, it is generally derived from hemp via the isolation of CBD. Again, not only is Delta-8 naturally occurring in the plant, it is also derived from the hemp plant. Both of these characteristics make the compound federally compliant under the 2018 Farm Bill. Now, I know there's a lot of you out there saying that obtaining commercial quantities of Delta-8 THC involves a synthetic process. And here's why I fundamentally disagree. Take, for example, terpenes, right? There are hemp-derived terpenes, there are plant-derived terpenes, and synthetically derived terpenes. Now, if I take my hemp, I run it through steam distillation, I isolate some of the terpenes, are those now synthetically derived terpenes? Of course not. The addition of a man-made process to consolidate, isolate, and/or derive a chemical, that doesn't impact the idea that it is still naturally derived. In order to protect the legal nature of your Delta-8 THC, you need to prioritize seed-to-sale traceability. You also need to make sure that you are licensed in your state and that you are following all of their guidelines, including local labeling laws. Finally, it is important to recognize that, while federally protected, Delta-8 THC is not legal in every state and municipality. For more information about protecting your Delta-8 production and sales, please reach out to our organization directly. I very much appreciate your time and consideration, and I look forward to speaking with you in person. Best wishes from the American Cannabinoid Association.